I'm Megan, and tonight, my world turned upside down in ways I never saw coming. Standing in front of my mirror, I slipped into a black dress that clung to me like a secret, my heart racing with anticipation for the surprise my husband Ethan promised. A night to make me feel desired again. But as he blindfolded me and led me into the unknown, the cool night air whispering against my skin, I felt a shiver that wasn't just from the chill. What started as a thrilling mystery soon spiraled into a dark, forbidden dance, leaving me trembling on the edge of everything I thought I knew about love, trust, and desire. What did Ethan unveil in that shadowy, decaying place, and how far did I let myself fall? There's a certain stillness in the air tonight, a kind of quiet that feels like it's holding its breath, waiting for something to break. I'm Megan, 31, standing in front of my bedroom mirror, tracing the outline of my reflection with a gaze that's half curious, half restless. I've been married to Ethan for 6 years now. He's 34, a software engineer with this quiet intensity that's always drawn me in, like a moth to a flame. There's something about the way he carries himself, a depth I've never quite reached, no matter how close we get. We've built a life together in this modest suburban home, just on the edge of a city that never seems to sleep. Its distant hum a constant reminder of a world beyond our quiet street. Our marriage, it's been steady, a slow and predictable rhythm, but I'd be lying if I said I haven't felt this gnawing ache inside me for something more. Something we haven't named yet. Something that lingers in the spaces between our words. Ethan, he's thoughtful in ways that catch me off guard. A handwritten note tucked into my sketchbook. A cup of coffee waiting on my desk before I even ask. But he's enigmatic too. A puzzle I'm still piecing together after all these years. Lately, though, I've noticed a shift in him. A restlessness that mirrors my own. It's in the way his hazel eyes linger on me a little longer, the way his silences seem heavier, like they're carrying secrets I'm not yet privy to. I'm a graphic designer, working from home, often lost in my own creative chaos, while Ethan's long hours at the office stretch our time together thin. Our moments of connection are fleeting, stolen in the early mornings or late at night when the world feels smaller, just the two of us. But tonight, he's promised me something different. A surprise he said would make me feel desired again. Those words, spoken in his low, deliberate tone, sent a shiver down my spine when he murmured them over breakfast. I'm excited, curious, and maybe just a little on edge, wondering what he could possibly have planned. I'm getting ready now, slipping into a simple black dress he picked out for me last week, the fabric hugging my curves in a way that makes me feel seen, even before his eyes find me. My heart's fluttering as I smooth the material over my hips, my fingers trembling just slightly as I fasten a delicate silver necklace around my throat. I catch my reflection again, my dark hair falling in loose waves over my shoulders, and I wonder if he'll notice the extra care I've taken tonight. The anticipation is a living thing inside me, curling tight in my chest as I imagine what's coming. Is it a quiet dinner at some hidden gem of a restaurant? A late-night drive to somewhere we've never been? Or something more intimate? Something that might finally bridge this unspoken distance between us? My mind wanders to possibilities that make my cheeks warm. As I step out of the house, Ethan's hand rests firmly on my lower back, guiding me with a steady pressure that feels both protective and commanding. The familiar creak of our front door echoes behind us, a sound I've heard 1,000 times. But tonight it feels like a threshold to something unknown. The cool evening air brushes against my skin, raising tiny goosebumps along my arms, and I can't help but shiver, not just from the chill, but from the weight of anticipation. I'm blindfolded, the soft fabric tied snugly over my eyes, blocking out everything but the sensations around me. Ethan had insisted on it, his voice low and teasing as he secured it, promising it would heighten the surprise. Now I'm left to trust him completely, my world reduced to sounds, smells, and the warmth of his touch. He leads me forward, my steps cautious on the familiar path to the driveway. I hear the faint crunch of leaves underfoot, the distant bark of a neighbor's dog, and then the click of the car door opening. Ethan helps me slide into the passenger seat, the leather cold against the backs of my thighs through the thin fabric of my dress. I settle in, my hands fumbling for the seatbelt, and I feel his fingers brush mine as he clicks it into place. The engine hums to life, a low vibration that seems to sync with the nervous flutter in my chest. We pull away from the house, and I'm immediately trying to map our route in my mind, counting the turns, listening for familiar sounds of the city. But soon, the hum of traffic fades, replaced by a quieter, more rhythmic sound. Maybe gravel under the tires, a subtle crunch that tells me we've left the paved roads behind. The drive stretches on, longer than I expected, and Ethan remains mostly silent beside me. Every now and then, his hand finds mine, giving it a gentle squeeze, a silent reassurance that I'm safe with him. But the silence itself feels heavy, charged with something I can't name. My thoughts swirl in the darkness behind the blindfold. I trust Ethan. I do. 6 years of marriage have built that foundation. But there's a tiny seed of unease growing with every passing mile. Where could we possibly be going that takes this long? Why the secrecy, the blindfold, the cryptic promise from this morning? My mind races with possibilities, some thrilling, others tinged with a nervous edge. I imagine us pulling up to a secluded cabin, a romantic getaway where we can rediscover each other in ways we haven't in years. But then darker thoughts creep in. What if this isn't about romance at all? What if there's something he's not telling me? I shake off the doubts, focusing instead on the sensory details around me. There's a faint smell of damp earth and pine seeping through what must be a cracked window, the scent sharp and wild, so different from the city's usual mix of exhaust and concrete. We're far from home now, that much is clear. The car finally slows to a stop, the engine cutting off with a soft sigh that leaves an eerie silence in its wake. I hear Ethan's door open, the creak of it slicing through the quiet, and then he's at my side, helping me out with that same steady grip on my arm. My feet touch uneven ground, maybe dirt or stone, and I wobble slightly, still blindfolded, as he guides me forward. The air out here is colder, heavier, carrying the scent of moss and decay, like we've stepped into a forgotten place. My heart is pounding now, a wild rhythm I can't control, as we move through what feels like a doorway, the temperature shifting subtly, the echo of our steps suggesting a vast, enclosed space. Inside, the atmosphere wraps around me like a shroud. The air is thick with the scent of old wood and wax, a musty, ancient smell that clings to the back of my throat. There's a faint crackle in the distance, like candles flickering, their tiny flames struggling against the darkness I can't yet see. Ethan's hands linger on my shoulders, his touch grounding but somehow different, charged with an energy I don't recognize. He leans close, his breath warm against my ear, and whispers, "I'm here, but tonight, you're not for me." My heart skips a beat, confusion crashing over me like a wave. What does he mean? Before I can turn to him, before I can demand an explanation, I feel unfamiliar hands, rough, calloused, deliberate, reaching for the blindfold. They untie it with a slow, almost ritualistic care, and as the fabric falls away, I blink into dim, flickering candlelight. My eyes adjust, and I'm stunned by what I see. I'm standing in a cavernous room, part of what must be an abandoned estate, its grandeur long faded. Peeling wallpaper hangs in tattered strips, revealing cracked plaster beneath, and cobwebbed chandeliers dangle precariously overhead, their crystals dulled by dust. The candlelight casts eerie shadows across the walls, making the space feel alive, like it's watching me. And then I see them. People. Strangers. Standing in a loose semicircle before me. There are 7 in total, men and women, all dressed in dark, elegant clothing that seems out of time, like they've stepped from another era. Their faces are unreadable, but their gazes are piercing, locked on me with an intensity that makes my skin prickle with unease. At the center of them is a tall man, his features sharp and angular, his dark eyes glinting with something I can't name. He steps forward, and I feel my breath hitch as I glance toward Ethan, who has retreated to the doorway. His expression is a mask, unreadable, but his eyes never leave me, burning with a silent intensity that both comforts and unnerves me. The stranger leans in, his presence overwhelming, his lips brushing the shell of my ear as he murmurs, "We've been waiting for you, Megan." My name on his tongue sends a shiver down my spine, a mix of fear and something darker, something I don't want to acknowledge, stirring deep within me. My mind reels as the pieces fall into place. Ethan has orchestrated this, some forbidden game, a dance of desire where I'm the focal point, the prize in a room full of hungry eyes. My stomach twists with the weight of it, betrayal, shock, and a sickening realization of what this means for the vows I've held sacred for 6 years. Ethan, my husband, the man I've trusted with everything, has brought me here, to this decaying place, to be… what? An offering? A player in a game I never agreed to? And yet, as the stranger's hand grazes my arm, his touch light but deliberate, I feel an undeniable pull, a heat that blooms beneath my skin despite the cold dread in my chest. My mind screams at me to step back, to run to Ethan, to demand answers, but my body betrays me, rooted to the spot, caught in the surreal weight of the moment. I'm torn, shredded between the life As the intensity of the moment fades, I'm left sitting on the tattered velvet couch in the center of this decaying estate, my chest heaving, struggling to catch my breath. The strangers who surrounded me just moments ago step back, their silhouettes blending into the flickering shadows cast by the dying candles. Their faces remain unreadable, a gallery of masks I can't decipher, and I don't even try. My black dress is askew, the fabric bunched and wrinkled in ways that tell a story I'm not sure I'm ready to read. My mind is a storm, a chaotic swirl of thoughts and emotions I can't pin down. There's a rush still coursing through me, an electric hum in my veins that I can't ignore, mingled with a heavy weight of guilt that sits like a stone in my stomach. I keep my eyes fixed on the worn wooden floor, unable to lift my gaze to meet Ethan's. I can feel his presence somewhere in the room, a silent force that both anchors and unsettles me. The silence is suffocating, broken only by the faint drip of wax from the candles, each drop a tiny heartbeat in the stillness. I sense movement nearby, and a woman with raven hair approaches, her steps light but deliberate. She holds out a glass of water, her cryptic smile curling at the edges of her lips like she knows something I don't. I take the glass with trembling fingers, barely registering her as I mutter a faint thanks. The cool liquid does little to soothe the fire inside me, the conflicting waves of exhilaration and shame that crash over me again and again. My focus isn't on her or the water. It's on the empty space where I know Ethan stands, waiting. I can't bring myself to look at him yet. Not after what just transpired. Not after I let myself be swept into a current I didn't fully understand until it was too late. Then I hear it. The slow, deliberate creak of the floorboards under his weight. My heart skips, a frantic rhythm as Ethan approaches. Each step echoes in the vast, hollow room, a sound that seems to stretch time itself. He kneels in front of me, close enough that I can feel the warmth radiating from him, a stark contrast to the chill that settled into my bones. His hands are gentle, almost reverent, as they reach for the hem of my dress, smoothing it back into place with a care that feels both familiar and alien. His touch, once so comforting, now carries a weight I can't name, a silent acknowledgement of the boundary we've crossed tonight. I force myself to look at him, searching his face for any sign of anger, hurt, or betrayal. anything that might mirror the turmoil inside me. But there's nothing like that. Instead, his hazel eyes hold a quiet intensity, a flicker of something that looks almost like pride, though I can't be sure. It confuses me, twists the knot in my chest even tighter. What does he see when he looks at me now? He doesn't speak. Not at first. He just helps me to my feet, his hands steady on my elbows as I stand, my legs still shaky from the whirlwind of the past hour. I glance around, noticing that the strangers have vanished, melted into the shadows of the estate as if they were never here. The room feels emptier now, cavernous and cold, the peeling wallpaper and dusty chandeliers bearing silent witness to what unfolded. Ethan's hand finds mine, his grip firm, almost possessive, as he leads me toward the heavy, ornate door we entered through what feels like a lifetime ago. My mind is still reeling, replaying fragments of the night, hands that weren't his, whispers that weren't his, a forbidden dance I never imagined I'd be part of. And yet, as we walk, I feel something unexpected, a lack of regret. Beneath the guilt, beneath the confusion, there's a part of me, a hidden, primal part that reveled in it. I wanted it, even if I didn't know it until now. That realization scares me more than anything else. We step through the doorway, and the cool night air hits me like a slap, sharp and bracing after the stifling atmosphere inside. As we step outside, the night air bites at my skin, pulling me back to the present after the haze of what just happened inside that crumbling estate. Ethan guides me to the car, his hand still firm on mine, a tether in the storm of my thoughts. I slide into the passenger seat, the leather cool against my legs once more, a stark reminder of how this night began. The blindfold, that piece of fabric that started it all, lies forgotten somewhere in the depths of that decaying place. I don't ask for it, don't even think to. My eyes are wide open now, in more ways than one. Ethan rounds the car, settling into the driver's seat with a quiet purpose. The engine purrs to life, a low, steady hum that fills the void between us as we pull away from the estate, the gravel crunching under the tires like a fading echo of the night's intensity. The silence in the car is thick, almost tangible, pressing down on me as I stare out the window into the endless darkness. The city lights are still far off, mere pinpricks on the horizon, leaving us in this in-between space where reality feels warped, like I've stepped out of one world and haven't quite landed in another. My mind is a whirlwind, spinning with questions I don't know how to voice. Did I just shatter everything we've built over 6 years? Does Ethan resent me for losing myself in that moment, for giving in to the pull of something so forbidden? I can still feel the ghost of unfamiliar touches, the weight of eyes that weren't his, and it sends a shiver through me. Part shame, part something I'm too afraid to name. My hands fidget in my lap, fingers twisting together as I try to anchor myself, to make sense of the chaos inside. I want to speak, to break this oppressive quiet, but the words stick in my throat, heavy and unspoken. Then, out of the stillness, Ethan plus Ethan's voice cuts through my spiraling thoughts, low and measured, like he's been waiting for the right moment to say it. You exceeded all my expectations, Megan. I turn to him, my breath catching, my heart stuttering at his words. In the dim glow of the dashboard lights, I search his profile, trying to read the lines of his face, the set of his jaw. He keeps his eyes on the road, but I catch the faintest tug of a smile at the corner of his mouth, a small, almost approving curve that sends a jolt through me. It's not anger, not disappointment. It's something else. Something that makes my pulse quicken for reasons I can't fully grasp. And then it hits me. A realization that lands like a punch. He meant for this to happen. He wanted it, orchestrated every detail of this night, took a kind of pleasure in watching me unravel in ways I never thought possible. My mind reels at the thought, trying to reconcile the man I've shared a life with, the quiet, thoughtful Ethan, with this hidden side of him that thrives on pushing boundaries, on seeing me step into the unknown. A flood of emotions crashes over me, each one vying for dominance. There's relief, sharp and sudden, that he's not angry, that I haven't broken us beyond repair, but it's tangled with confusion, a deep, gnawing uncertainty about his motives. Why would he want this? What does it mean about him, about us, that he found satisfaction in seeing me caught up in that forbidden dance? And beneath it all, there's a growing curiosity, a whisper in the back of my mind that wonders just how deep this side of him goes. What else is he hiding behind those hazel eyes? What other desires has he kept locked away, waiting for the right moment to set them free? I shift in my seat, the leather creaking softly under me, and I steal another glance at him, trying to find answers in the shadows of his expression. Finally, I muster the courage to speak, my voice barely above a whisper, hesitant and raw. Are you okay with what happened back there? My words hang in the air, fragile, like they might shatter if I say them too loudly. Ethan doesn't answer right. As the car hums along the quiet roads, the first hints of dawn begin to streak the sky with pale gold and lavender. I'm still lost in my thoughts, the weight of Ethan's words. You exceeded all my expectations, Megan, echoing in my mind like a haunting melody. My question lingers unanswered, suspended in the air between us, but I don't press him. Not yet. There's a strange comfort in the silence now, a shared space where we both seem to be processing the night in our own ways. The city lights grow closer, their glow a beacon pulling us back to reality, and soon, the familiar outline of our suburban neighborhood comes into view. Our house, that modest two-story haven on the edge of the bustling world, stands as it always has, its windows dark and unassuming. But as we pull into the driveway, a peculiar feeling washes over me. It's both a warm embrace and an unsettling strangeness, as if I'm seeing it through new eyes after the whirlwind of the estate. We step out of the car, the cool morning air brushing against my skin, a sharp contrast to the charged, heavy atmosphere we left behind. Ethan walks beside me, his presence steady as ever, and I notice the way his hand hovers near my back, not quite touching but close enough to feel its warmth. The front door creaks open with that familiar sound, but today it feels like stepping across a different kind of threshold. Inside, the silence of our home is deafening, a stark shift from the flickering tension of that decaying mansion. The living room is just as we left it, my sketchbooks scattered on the coffee table, Ethan's laptop bag by the couch, but it all seems distant, like relics of a life I lived before tonight. I kick off my heels by the door, the sharp clack of them hitting the floor breaking the quiet. My bare feet press against the cool hardwood, grounding me in this moment, and I let out a slow breath, trying to anchor myself in the familiar. I make my way to the bathroom, my steps slow and deliberate, as if I'm relearning how to move in my own space. The mirror above the sink catches my eye as I turn on the faucet, and I pause, staring at the woman looking back at me. My dark hair is mussed, strands clinging to my neck from the night's intensity, and my eyes, there's something different in them, a glint of something wild, untamed. I splash cold water on my face, the shock of it pulling me further into the present. But even as the droplets roll down my cheeks, I can't shake the feeling that I've tasted something forbidden, something I shouldn't have craved but did. And the worst part, or maybe the best, is that I liked it. I liked the rush, the edge, the way it made my heart race with a ferocity I hadn't known I could feel. I dry my face with a towel, my movements mechanical, but inside, my mind is anything but calm. It's a storm of conflicting tides, guilt for stepping beyond the boundaries I once held sacred, and a thrilling pulse of discovery that refuses to be silenced. I hear the soft creak of floorboards behind me and know Ethan's nearby. I don't turn around right away, instead taking a moment to steady myself before heading to our bedroom. He's already there, sitting on the edge of the bed, his posture relaxed, but his gaze fixed on me as I enter. I can feel the weight of his eyes, not judgmental, but knowing, as if he sees straight through to the parts of me I'm still trying to understand. I move to the dresser, pulling out a pair of soft pajamas, and begin to change, acutely aware of his presence. The air between us feels different now, lighter in a way I can't quite explain, like a barrier has been lifted without either of us saying a word. There's an unspoken understanding, a quiet agreement that what happened tonight has shifted something fundamental between us, and yet, we're still here, still us. I don't ask him how he planned it, or why he chose to guide me into that shadowed world. Deep down, I sense there's more to come. More. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you.